Hello, people, my good friends of the channel. Welcome back to the Nightwalk Vlog. It is I, Chad Marco, and I'm just chilling in the Gundam, contemplating birth, death, and everything in between. But for real, there's something that I've been thinking about, and I think it's something that everybody has to think about at at some point, and is what's most important to you in your life. What's the most important thing? Um, and I've had to think about that. I've had to think about that and consider that for myself. Like, what's most important to me? What's the most important thing for Chad Marco? You know, one of my favorite books is Way of the Superior Man, and one of the things that the book says or talks about is figuring out what are the things that you want to do before you die. Like, what are the things that if you don't do, you won't be satisfied in the end, right? And that's kind of how I make a lot of my decisions, right? As far as what I would do and what I wouldn't do. If not saying that I don't that I don't do anything that's necessarily like wasteful or unproductive, right? Because that's a constant struggle for most people nowadays with so many distractions. But it's much easier to disregard the things that you've never done or the things you haven't really gotten involved in, and but you can tell don't really classify as being something that's important, right? And that's how I make a lot of my decisions going forward, as far as like what I will and won't introduce into my life, or the things I will and won't pursue. What are the things that I just have to do so that I'm satisfied when it's all said and done? Or rather, you could even say again, like, what's most important? What's the most important thing? Like, what is it? And I figured that out for me. I know what it is. I know what's the most important thing for me to accomplish. Even though it's not something that can really be done, right? It's not something where you get to a point and boom, you're there, right? It's not that kind of goal. What's most important to me is again, it's kind of interesting because I can never truly achieve it, but it's more like a way of life. It's a never ending struggle. It's a never ending journey. Um, and what it is self mastery. To be the master of myself, to be the master of Chad Marco, right? And everything that I do, and self mastery can mean different things to different people, right? But for me, it means a lot of different things. Like, I do music, I make music, so and that's really like my primary like creative outlet. So that's one thing, right? To be the master of beats, the master of writing songs, the master of rapping, a master of engineering and producing and putting songs together, editing. Like, that's one thing. And but it's not just that, right? It's also different things like taking care of my body, right? Working out, trying to eat better, the way that I socialize, right? The way that I'm able to interact with other people, always trying to polish that skill. The way that I walk, the way that I talk, my pronunciation, my grammar, my vocabulary, pretty much any and everything that I do or can do is a part of that journey towards self mastery, right? And I've made a lot of progress. I've made a ton of progress over the years, but I know that I still have a very I have a very long way to go. But again, it's not something that will ever be complete because there's always room for perfection, or not perfect. There's always room for improvement, right? But I do believe that there's a certain threshold that I can achieve to where I can feel like very good about myself. And I feel good about myself now, but in terms of overall self mastery and everything that entails, like there's another level that I really want to reach. There's another level, and again, it's saying this. I kind of feel a bit foolish because again, I know it's a never ending journey, but I feel like there's a peak or a level that I can reach to where I can say, "Damn," right? Like that's where I want to hit that level that's so high that when I look around, I don't see a lot of people anymore. You know, I want to hit that level where it's like I look around, it's almost empty. You know, to be a king amongst kings, a master amongst masters, elite amongst the elite. You know, and again, it's a very vague, subjective thing that's personal to everybody. So, you know, uh, it's gonna look it's one of those things that will look different to everybody, right? Like that peak or that that place, right? And like I know, like I've said before that if I died now, I would have nothing to complain about, but that's really not true. That's really not true. That's the one thing, bruh. That's truly the one thing that would bother me, that I never reached that level where it's like, damn, I'm so high up. Wow. Like, oh man. And one of my favorite manga is Hajime no Ippo. It's a boxing manga. And I forgot the exact context of the moment because it's been a while since I read this part. But I think the main character, Ippo, I believe he was referring to, maybe it was Takamura or Ricardo. And if you don't know, Takamura is like the absolute best boxer in Japan in the Hajime no Ippo manga, right? He's undefeated, he's really powerful. Um and everybody in the gym looks up to him as a hero, really. And I believe Ippo was looking at Takamura, and he sees Takamura as being like so high up, right? Or even Ricardo, who is like the featherweight champion, right? He looks at these guys as being like so far up, and it's like he looks at them and he's like, what do they see, right? What does that feel like to be that good? What does that feel like to be in that position, right? And I love the way that it's illustrated in the manga, right? It's like they have it illustrated like these different boxers who are like on these high peaks, right? Like these platforms in the wilderness, right? And there's only a few of them, right? Cause there's only a few people who reach a certain level, and it's like they're all just high up in the sky on their individual platforms, looking at even greater horizons, right? Like just looking up into the night sky. And I love that picture because I've never seen something that illustrated what I wanted so bad and how I feel so bad. Like to see, just to, when you see these amazing people, when you see these amazing people in our world, and it's hard to imagine what they see. Like, what do they see when they wake up in the morning? What do they feel on an everyday basis? What is it like to live life at such a high level, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, everything that comes with it. What is that like? And that picture, I love that picture because it illustrates it so well. Like, they're so high up, and you just want to know, like, what do they feel? What does that feel like to be up there, right? And it's not that you're glamorizing it. It's not that you have this foolish dream of it just being like perfect or anything. You understand that it's a struggle. You understand there's pain. You understand there's loneliness, but at the same time there's glory, there's victory. There's a unique experience of pushing yourself beyond what 90% of human beings have ever felt, have ever experienced, right? Like, you have and this again, this could apply to many different things, whether you're a musician, whether you're a scientist, a doctor, a novelist, a business person, whatever. Like, anything that in this world that you dedicate yourself to, you can push it to new heights. You can push it to a new level. But what is it like, right, to take something and push it to the level of the top 25%, the level of the top 15%, 10%, 5%, 3%, 1%. What is it like? What is it like at that like at that level, that height? What does that feel like? Right? And that's what I want to feel, man. That's what I want more than anything else, bro. Like, and it's not just with the music, I want to feel that with how I take care of my body, right? With working out. I want to feel that with reading. I want to feel that with learning. I want to feel that with the way that I socialize and interact with people. I want to feel that with how I edit videos and make content. I want to feel that with even like playing fighting games, right? Like, what does it feel like to be at the level of an elite Street Fighter player or something like that? I mean, it's so many different things that we do. It's not just one thing. Everybody does like a multitude of things. You look at Michael Jordan, like, he was a master of basketball, but he played cards, he played golf, he did different shit, right? That he was also trying to, master alongside his main thing. And so that's really what it is, man. And you know, I see I see a lot of attractive women. I see a lot of girls around, and I think some people, they would make the mistake of looking at a guy like me and thinking, well, he's just afraid to talk to girls. He's just afraid to put himself out there. Let me let me tell you, that ain't it. That ain't it. It's like, now when I look at girls now, it's like, I realized that even if I did get the girl, even if I got like a cute girl, a pretty girl, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter, because I'm not satisfied with my level of self mastery. I'm not satisfied with my level of self control. And it's like, I just believe I wouldn't even really be able to enjoy it. I think if anything, it would be a distraction, right? And that's just really how I feel right now, bro. It's like, I feel like I really just pinpointed what it is, man. And that's what I want. I want to see what they see. I want to feel what they feel. I want, like, what is it like at the top? What is it like? What does it feel like? The good, the bad, the struggle, the fear, the stress, but also the love, the accomplishment, the satisfaction, right? The setbacks, the hunger. the competition, but then the wins, the highlights, everything, man. Like, what does that feel like? And for me, that's from here on out, man. That's really what it's all about for me. From here on out, that's what it's all about for me, man. That's what it's all about. That's what I want more than like. That's it. That's it, man. And there's another there's another aspect to it too, though, and it's the aspect of and why it's so important to me is because self-control is so important, right? To have the self-control to make good decisions, even in the face of temptation, even in the face of peer pressure and things of that nature. It's way too important to be a master of yourself. Is way too vital to survive and thrive in this world, and for me, that's like that's just that's top priority, man. That's top priority. Just the never ending journey of self mastery. And again, I know it's a never ending journey because there's always room for improvement. But like, still, and maybe I'm foolish for thinking this, but I just believe there's a level, right, where you can't help but say damn. And that's that unbelievable level where you can't, when you look around and you can't believe what you see. You look around and you can't believe how high you are. You look around and it's almost scary. You feel like you're almost dreaming, And I've gotten glimpses here and there because I've come such a long way, right? But still, I know there's like whew, woo, like it's levels to this shit, man. And I'm trying to get a taste of that, man. And it's like that's it, man. Self mastery is what I want more than anything else. To be able to say I'm a master of myself, to be a man of self discipline, a man of integrity, a man of honor, someone who's focused. That's it, man. That's to me that would be the highest honor. That would be the highest. There's nothing else that is for me. That would be the highest honor as far as like personal achievement. To be someone who can honestly say, damn, like I became a master of myself. You know, I reached that that level of whoa, that damn, what the. But that's it, man. That's really what I wanted. That's really what I wanted to talk about because that shit was like it's kind of profound. And I've kind of known this for a while. I always talk about when I had that epiphany when I was like 24, 25, and I think that's kind of that was like the early stages of that realization. Um, but that was more about just appreciating life and that's why I've had such a good like outlook and my mood and overall just feeling like how I feel has been like so stable since then. But as far as like what I lack, that's it, man. That's it. Cause I've always struggled with being consistent. I've always struggled with self-discipline. I've always struggled with making good decisions on a daily basis. I can do very well for a day, but then the next day it's not there and I think, oh, like if I just had like that consistency, right? That consistency and that focus and that will and that self-discipline more than anything, like who knows, man? And that's why I hunger for it so much because I feel like with that anything is possible. And that's what I'm focusing on like from here on out. Like I'm just gonna drill it into my mind in any way possible because everything starts in here. Like that's what I'm just just gonna reprogram myself to just focus in on that shit, man. But hope you guys enjoyed that little episode of the Nightwalk Vlog. I will return later with more. Peace and love. Love and peace. Vash Stampede.